In this video, we will go over user customization, user setup, default authorization setup. In user setup menu, if you click on an existing user ID, you can set up its default authorization and menu authorization. By using menu authorization, you can set up menu authorizations that will be applicable to only this user ID. On the other hand, if you use default authorization, you can batch apply the same authorizations to all members of each department. In default authorization drop-down box, you can see all authorization and no authorization. These two options are the ones set by the program by default, and you can add custom groups by using authorization group settings in the left menu. In the menu, click New at the bottom to register a new default authorization group. Set the group code, 5 digits maximum, and set the group name. If you want to divide users by their department, and if you want to set their authorizations individually by department, you can set the group name to the name of each department. I will set it to sales department and click Save. Then the group will be generated. You can set the menu authorizations for each group. Click Setup, and you can see each module at the top. Click each tab and set the authorization for the submenus. For each module in each submenu, you can select between two options: no authorization and all authorization. No means that the user will not be able to access the menu at all, and all means that the user can do anything, including creating, editing, deleting, viewing, and sending data outside. You can restrict everything or allow everything. And if you want to partially allow the user to use the menu, you need to go through two steps. Firstly, you need to give all authorization and change the existing settings accordingly. Secondly, you need to click Detail Authorization Setup. In Function Authorization Setting window, check the actions that you will allow and uncheck the ones that you want to restrict. You can set it by entering, editing, deleting, and sending data outside via email, PDF export, and FYI, Excel export is not included in this window. It is located in Authorization tab. 다른 탭 가서 한번 보여주세요. And back in Function Authorization Setting, you can set it for Settings as well. Settings refer to screen customizing. For example, Print Template Setup and Input Screen Setting. So check and uncheck these actions to your desire. For example, if you want to allow the user to only view sales slips but not allow the user to create, enter, edit, or delete sales slips, please uncheck Enter, Modify, Delete options and apply. So, for example, I will set the authorization for sales department. If the department must use all menus of sales module, and if they must not be able to access all other menus of inventory module, check all authorization for sales module, and check no authorization for all the other menus of Inventory 1 tab, and click Save to finish. So after setting up authorization groups for each department like this, you can go to Register User menu to connect the group to each user ID. So when you change the default authorization of the user, the individual authorizations that you manually set will not be changed. However, if you want to change the individual settings as well to fit the newly selected default authorization group, click Cancel to change them. In other words, if you want to change all the menu authorizations of this user to follow the group that you selected, please make sure to click Cancel in the pop-up. This way, the individual settings will be adjusted to fit the group settings. And if this user will belong to sales department but will have different authorizations for a few menus, first select sales department in default authorization. And then go to Menu Authorization Setup. Check Individual Authorization for the corresponding menus, and then select a different authorization option for the user and for the corresponding menus. And in addition to menu authorization, if you go to Authorization tab, you can see various other authorization settings. And if they say default, it means that they will follow the settings of authorization group that you selected. So in this way, once you have saved authorization settings, if you log in with the corresponding user ID, then based on the group authorization settings, the user will be able to access only Sales module and will be unable to access the other menus of the Inventory 1 module. In this way, please use authorization group settings and default authorization setup if you want to divide user authorization by their department, by their work position, or their title.